Tell me about breaking up a cockfight.
I'm in the auto crime division, and I had made a couple of arrests that had nothing to do with auto crime. Nothing. I think one was a gun and another was a gambling arrest. And my lieutenant calls me in the office, goes, "Love what you're doing. Stick to auto crime." I go, "But boss, I walked it." "Vic, stick to auto crime." I said, "Okay." So my sergeant a couple of days later goes, "We're getting killed with these Vespas." And the Vespas are these Italian motorized scooters that these hipsters drive around in Manhattan. And they're getting robbed on the upper east or west side of Manhattan. He goes, "Look into this. See if you can put a dent in this to make it go away. The precinct commanders are calling up. They want auto crime to solve their problems." I said, "All right." So I get a list of about 5 or 7 of these things. Running the plates. They're all still active except one. One of the Vespas was recovered in an arrest in the 4-4 precinct off of Hawkstone Avenue, off the Grand Concourse. Okay. In my mind, as a detective, I'm saying to myself, it's a bunch of kids that are going up there. They're robbing these things. They're bringing them back to Hawkstone Avenue. I'm going to go there, and they're going to be running into each other. I'll just hang out up there a couple of days, and I'm going to pick these kids off, right? My partner and I go up there. No Vespas, nothing. So the neighborhood is littered with 6-story tenement buildings. Each one of these buildings have these underground caverns where the superintendent lives. And in these basements, you have common areas where people store motorcycles, the equipment to shovel snow. People store stuff they pay extra to store. So I said, "I'll bet you these Vespas," then I parked in the street, "these kids are going to have them either in their apartment or they're going to keep them in the common area of these buildings around Hawkstone Avenue." So one by one, I start going into these basements, find the super's apartment, knock on the door, the super comes out. "My friend, can you show me around?" "Sure." And these guys were proud to show off their underground lairs. It was like, the basement of Disney World, right? And I'm going around, they're showing me these things, and no Vespas, right? Did this to about 10 buildings. The 11th building, my partner goes, "Come on, let's go. One more." We go into this building. I knock on the door, and I hear laughing, like hysterical laughter in this apartment. I knock on the door opens, and the super is about 5 feet tall. He looked like Tattoo from Fantasy Island. Like he had jet black hair. I'm hit with the smell of weed. His eyes are glassy, and he looked like he's seen a ghost. And I go, "Poppy, is it okay if you could just show us around down here, see if there's any, we're looking for these Vespas?" And he just looks at me. And I go, and I repeat it, and he goes, "Yeah, okay. So he gets his keys, and he's a nervous wreck. He's just nervous. Everybody else is proud to show me this thing. This guy looks like I just gave him a cancer diagnosis, right? So we're walking in this lair, and this common area, it's got like these 2 doors with a latch on it. And he goes to put the key in the lock, and he drops the keys. And I go, "Are you all right?" Yeah. He opens it up. He pushes the wall open. He puts on the light. And there's got to be 50, 100 birds, roosters and hens, just running around the floor. And then on the walls are pods, like cages. I guess those were the fighting cocks. Like, I guess the other ones were in training. But then you had like another 50 birds in pods. I know what this is. I mean, who the fuck? He's not harvesting eggs. This is for cockfighting, right? I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. And I go, I remember what my sergeant said. My lieutenant said, and I go, "You got any Vespas?" He goes, "No." It's all right. "It's okay?" "It's okay." "Oh, okay." He locks the place. He locks it up. My partner goes, "What are you going to do?" I said, "What do you think?" I get on the phone. I get my sergeant on the phone. I says, "Get the fucking cavalry down here." I says, "I just walked into the world's biggest cockfighting thing." And I'm explaining it to him. He goes, "What did the lieutenant tell you?" I said, "You don't understand. This is going to be big. We're going to make so much overtime. I've never made an animal cruelty case, but I'm sure I can figure it out. Just get the whole office down here." He goes, "The lieutenant left for the day. I'm not going to bother him with this stuff. Call the ASPCA." "You've got to be kidding me." He goes, "Call the ASPCA." At the time, there was a television show called Animal Precinct on Animal Planet. It was a cable show. And it was about the ASPCA police. And they went out with cameras and they filmed them the ASPCA has these peace officers that they go around and lock people up for animal cruelty. People call up, my neighbor's dog is barking. They check to see if the dog is all right. I call up, I get the guy on the phone that I hear on TV. And I explain to him what it is. And he goes, you got to be kidding me. He goes, this sounds huge. I says, I know. He goes, all right, thank you for the information. He goes, I'll tell you what. He says, let me look into this. He goes, if we get a search warrant, he goes, I'll call you up. Maybe you can get a taste of overtime. I said, done. Thank you. Week or two goes by. I take a couple of days off. That's another story. I'm helping my father put a fence in my aunt's yard. My father doesn't know how to use an auger. And my father's using this auger, and it hooks a root, and he looks like he's square dancing, going around in circles. I think my father's going to break his arm, so I give him a shot. I knock him off the auger, and he tears his shirt. Then he wants me to pay for the shirt. Anyway, I'm picking my father up off the floor, and the auger's going, right? The phone rings. It's a guy from the ASPCA. He goes, this is going to be big. He goes, we got search warrants lined up. He goes, this is going to be all over the city and everything. I says, I'm helping my old man with this fence, and I'm going to have to buy him a shirt. Enjoy. He goes, all right, thanks, buddy, right? A couple of days later, I come into work. It's on the front page of one of the major papers. Largest cockfighting ring in New York City, history busted. So my sergeant goes, is this? I go, yeah. He goes, wow. He walks in, should have just left it alone. Walks in and tells the lieutenant, and the lieutenant goes, my lieutenant was one of these guys. He was always on the outside looking in. Like, he never met he was always trying to get into a press conference. That he would have wanted me to do. And he goes, why didn't you tell me? And the sergeant's like, and I says, you told me to stick to autocrime. And that's just basically where it ended. But yeah, I was involved in breaking up the city's largest cockfighting ring, and I wasn't even there.